Good morning, everybody. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station. 1320 AM WARA and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. I'm Dominic Damiano, joined by the Sportsmaster Justin Ferreira, and, of course, Luz Cabral. And Catherine Conley is in the Olympics. She's in the Olympics. He told me what it was. I don't think it was cornhole. It was something else. But that starts at 1, so there's no way she could be 2 places at one time. Well, she could try, I guess. We are waiting for Patricia Cowley from Canton Girls Bulldogs, Lady Bulldogs Volleyball, as I'm trying to get everything in there. They're everything about them. It's supposed to be also, I believe, Taylor Harris, a senior, is supposed to call in as well. I know she called in prior to because Dave Kane said, yeah, someone called in, but they hung up, so that had to be them. But then I sent a reminder email, probably late. Hopefully she'll call in about 12:05, and we will highlight Lady Bulldogs girls volleyball over at Canton High School. They are the current 2019 girls volleyball Division II state champions. And I was looking at the bracket. For whatever reason, the ultimate glory, I always thought they were considered a South sectional school. They put them in the Central with, I guess they're trying to get, it's crazy. So I was I'm looking at their bracket now from last year when they went on their run and who they beat to become the state champions. But usually they play out of the Hockomock. And for people who don't know, we do have open phone lines, 508-222-1320. So they put them in the Central last year in the MIAA's Ultimate Wisdom, which I still scratch my head out for the last almost 20 years on it. But it is what it is.
Somebody's trying to call in.
Someone's trying to call in now.
Yeah,
Yay,
there you
go. Hey.
So this is the Canton Girls Volleyball Lady Bulldogs, okay? So they're the 2019-2020 Mass D2 state champs.
Correct.
All right.
And I believe we have Patricia Cowley on the... Patricia, is this you?
Patricia or Michelle?
Yes, it is.
Hey, good morning, young lady. Thank you for calling in.
Well, thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not a big fan of the way the MIAA does the brackets, so I get on my little stomp my feet and make my complaints. So I was just making my complaints, and I mean, you guys are a Hockomock, play out a very tough conference in the Hockomock, and I'm looking at all these other schools besides Ashland, Medway, Holliston. I don't know who the heck is on this list that you're playing. You know what I mean?
Right. We are in the Central Division, and so we are as far south as you can be in Central.
Yep.
And I'm not really sure most of the teams in Canton play in the South Division, but that's the way we ended up.
Yeah, it's kind of silly. I mean, you're probably used to a different format, and I'm used to your format when we have a chance to cover all the teams out of the South when we do our bracket show. I believe we have Taylor Harris on the other line. Taylor, is that you?
Yeah.
Good morning, young lady. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I didn't get you out of bed, did I?
No.
Oh, well, thanks, guys. First of all, congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So one good thing about this show is that we love to do is some people, besides the general area, not just in the Hockomock, that know you guys. And, of course, you made headways in the way they have this new format, and you already mentioned about coming out of the Central Division in this South sectional bracket. I think, this is always a good chance for people to get to know you, coach, and, your experience as far as playing, and coaching organized varsity Division II basketball. If you could just give us a little bit of your history and stuff, that'd be great.
Okay, so you want me to start off?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I have a volleyball background. I've been playing volleyball since I was in high school. I also played in college back in the day. And I've been coaching pretty much every off and on for many years until a friend in Canton wanted to start a high school team in Canton. And that was in 2001 when we finally got the okay. He had been working on that for 4 years. So prior to that, I had coached club volleyball. I coached a year in college after I graduated. But so we finally got the okay from the Canton School Committee, and in 2001 we started the program. His name is Arunas Consitis, and he really deserves a lot of accolades for the Canton program. He coached the varsity for the first 6 years, and I was the JV coach. And then he decided to step down, and I've been there ever since.
Oh wow! You're like part of the furniture now, right there.
We are the furniture at Canton High Volleyball.
Now, Taylor, you're a senior, correct?
Yeah.
Now, how long? Can you tell us how long have you been playing volleyball and stuff?
I started playing volleyball on the Cobras team, which is like a small club out of Canton. I started playing that in 8th grade, and then I really started like the real volleyball playing freshman year, and then so I played AV when I was a freshman, and then the next 3 years I played on varsity.
Oh, cool. So I'm trying to set up the Facebook link, so if anyone has any questions, they can, they want to shoot in your direction. Anyone, wherever, can just make a comment, and we will reply to the comment and let you guys, as long as it's clean, we'll. So I gotta load my volume here, and let me just make sure I get this up and running here. Good. All right, so we're ready to take any questions. If people want to text us and throw some questions in your direction. And my sister's calling me on my phone, and I'm gonna call you right back. That's funny. But if anybody wants to call in from around the area, in the greater Canton or southeastern Mass, have a question for Coach or Taylor Harris, please shoot it and via the Facebook link. I'll read the comment out, and hopefully, again, if it's good, we'll and worth reading, we'll read it. So, Coach, going in, you guys have any questions before I ramble on?
Well, I'm probably going to ask the same question as you are, as far as conditioning for the season. And Coach Colley, how did you know, or when did you know that the team got together and how they gelled and knew this was going to be a very special team?
Well, that's a great question. Every season we go into the season thinking that, we're going to go all the way. I think that's the only way to do it when you coach. And we've tried to create a culture at Canton High where volleyball is more than a game that is played on the court, where the kids really have some place to go that's fun, where they have friends, where they feel safe. So it is more than the wins and losses. So I think year to year that translates to the preseason, to the off season for the kids. We make a lot of time for the varsity and the JV and the freshmen to be together, to do things together, to be in the gym together, so that the transition from one team to another is easy. And it's something that I think has worked for us over the years. So when our season is done, the kids are still getting together, talking after the season. They play club. A lot of them play it together. They usually go to camp, and then in the summer, they get together and they work out. So as far as last year's team, when we came in, we had the same high expectations that we've always had. It was kind of a brand new team. Taylor was the only player returning who had played 6 positions. She never came off the court. Other than that, we had pretty much 2 or 3 players that had played like part-time, gotten a little bit of playing time. But the year before, we also had a very strong team, and we graduated a lot of players in 2019. So to answer your question more directly, we go through, we're positive. We had a lot of injuries. We actually lost one of our setters in the 3rd match. One of the players that came up that I thought was going to have a very good chance of being a regular player had injured her foot in the off season and unfortunately was never able to come back. So those were 2 positions that we thought we had. So we kind of had to regroup and try new things. So in the beginning of the season, it was just trying to find out who we were and find our identity. But as we went through the season, the coaches and I would look at each other and say, this team does have the ability, because they had the guts, really, the determination that they were going to make it. We had a couple of great players. Obviously, Taylor is one of the best players in the entire state, and we kind of, played off of her a lot. But she was able to help us bring the other players up to become better players. And even though we didn't have a lot of experience, they had the confidence that they could do it, and I think that's what carried us through.
Well, that's great. Coach, so what were you, to add to Lucy's question, when did you know, when did you realize and your staff realized you guys were getting off to a decent start?
Well, the start was a little rocky, and then when we lost we had started off with a 6-2 offense, which means we had 2 setters starting, and then we kind of transitioned to 1 setter because it just seemed to give us a little more stability, because even though we were winning our matches, we weren't winning with the way that I wanted to win. So we transitioned to a 5-1, and in the match, which is 1 setter, and in that match is where our setter went down, and we lost her for the year. So then we had to kind of backtrack a little bit, and so the next few matches were also, trying to find ourselves. And I have to say, Jackie Morrissey was the setter who finally won the position, and she really did a fabulous job for us going forward. But I would say it wasn't until the last match of the season when we played Quincy, who was having a fantastic year and was considered one of the best teams in the state, and we went out there and we had the match of our lives, and we beat them in 3. And I think it was after that we looked at each other and said, we can do this for sure.
After you won 17 games, you came down to the last game?
Well, like I said, we're always positive. We're always thinking we can do it. But to get that feeling like we can definitely do it, it was the last match of the season. I don't know how Taylor feel about that. Maybe she has different feelings.
Yeah, did you have a number of seniors on the team as well?
We had 6 seniors this year.
Wow.
Two of them, Taylor and Claire Quinn, played all the time. The others were, came off the bench and certainly worked hard in practice. But the majority of all the other starters were juniors, and the first people off the bench were juniors.
All right, so Coach Taylor, we're going to take our first break, and I hope we can still hold on to you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station, 1320 AM WARA, and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. We are highlighting the Division II Lady Bulldogs from Canton High School. We'll be back with more right after this.
You okay there? You got a smile for me.
Huh?
Come on, get a smile. Look here. There you go. That's better.
Oh, I break it.
Huh?
I say break it. Hey, welcome back. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here in the news station. 1320 AM WARA and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. We have the privilege of having the Division II Massachusetts girls volleyball state champions, Taylor Harris, and coach. Coach, is it Pat or Patricia? What do you like to be called?
Pat, please.
Okay, you got it. I wanted to make sure my mother always told me to have manners, so I'm trying to work on them. All right, so Taylor, do we still have you? Still with us?
Yes.
So for you, and thank you for giving us a little bio on your volleyball history. We appreciate that. When did you know you were going to fall in love with this game? Is that something that because are you first off, are you a multi-sport athlete?
I was going into high school, yes.
And what was your other sport?
I used to play basketball and softball.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you know you loved this game?
Coming into high school, I always liked basketball was my number one sport, and I played volleyball just to get through the fall season, and I wanted to be a 3-sport athlete. So I played the first year, and Coach Colley always talked about how girls would fall in love with volleyball, and I was like, no, it's not going to be me. But after that year, I dedicated more of my time to volleyball, and I ended up quitting basketball in order to play on another a very competitive volleyball team. And then from there, from sophomore year to senior year, I played on that team, and I worked really hard in the off season for the high school, and that's when I fell in love with volleyball.
Oh, nice. So you're definitely caught. Now, do you have a college that are you going to? You're playing. Are you first off? Are you going to college, and are you playing volleyball in college?
Yeah, so I'm moving into college next week at Springfield College, and I'm playing volleyball there.
Congratulations.
Oh, that's great, Taylor.
That is awesome.
So I understand, Taylor, that you are a team player, and a lot of girls look up to you, and you're very humble in nature. How is that so? I mean, what do you do to lead an example for the other players? How do you hype them up, and how do you teach them and show them what you're made of?
So I wasn't really a loud captain. I kind of really led by example. But on the court, I always stayed calm. So I think that spread to the other kids, staying calm the whole time. And then I always would put my team before myself, and I don't know. I would just my mistakes meant more. I was more mad about my mistakes than my teammates because I knew that they could, that they were. What's the word?
They were watching you, and so you were trying
Yeah.
to lead by example, so to speak. And when you made a mistake, you kind of felt like, no, I don't want you to do that, or don't follow me, or that type of thing, right?
Yeah, but I also tried to show that my mistakes didn't affect me, so that when they made mistakes, it wouldn't affect them.
That's
So
a great
how I,
attitude. Great attitude.
live the team. Yeah.
Right, Taylor is a very humble player, and she meant so much to our program. She is one of the best, if maybe the best high school player we've had. We've had many good players, and I don't want to downplay any of them. But like she said, she stayed calm. She never got angry at a teammate. When the ball was set in her direction, she tried to make the most of it, no matter how good or bad the set was. She never let a setter feel like the setter wasn't doing a great job, which is hard to do for a hitter. A lot of hitters are constantly asking for their ball in a certain spot and in a certain way. Taylor never did that. And I think, like she said, I think her example calmed her teammates and really helped us. And just to throw out a little stat, Taylor finished the year with 434 kills, which was 84 kills more than the next player in the entire state, all divisions.
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's crazy. That is absolutely
Wow.
insane. And she's so humble,
Right?
right?
Right.
That is awesome.
I know. I was looking up some stats, and she had so many awards. She is the 2020 Hockomock MVP Player of the Year, and just amazing. Just amazing. What a career. And hopefully you've handed down some experience to the girls, the next set of girls starting the season in September, and lay down some guidelines and hopefully some courage to keep the title.
So Taylor, I have a question for you. So, what is your work ethic to get ready for the season? When the season starts, what is the thing you always strive in the back of your head that you want to get ready for, that you want to work on prior to the season starting?
So conditioning is a big thing in volleyball, and me and my teammates work on conditioning over the summer, and we meet up in like little groups and stuff and work out for like an hour. But I like write down goals before the season. So like this year I wanted to be like a player to like look out for on Hockomock Sports. So I got that, and then I wrote down like I want to go deep in the playoffs. I want to get like big crowds and stuff. I want to get a lot of awards. So that's what like pushes me when I go to practice and stuff. So I always write down goals before my season to go into the season with.
Now, what do you try to? I'm actually adding to Lucy's question. So, how do you try, or what do you do, or how do you try to motivate your teammates?
I try to motivate my teammates by like working really hard in practice, because then that'll motivate them to be like to try to play at the level that I'm playing at. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
So I like I always worked really hard when I was hitting or like passing or something, and I would always help my teammates with their form if they like needed it. They would always come to me for like questions and stuff. So I'd always play at like a higher level so that they would try to reach my level when they played. I could see that like motivated them to work harder.
So my next question is, what was your favorite position to play out of the six?
Definitely outside was my favorite, like playing the front row and hitting.
Yeah. That was your favorite position?
Yeah, really what?
That was your favorite position?
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking, how tall are you?
I'm only 5'7", but
You only 5.
Only.
What's your vertical leap? Coach, what's your vertical leap? Like 45 inches or something like that?
It feels like 45 inches for sure. Taylor is a leaper, and she is as far as outside hitters go, she's not very tall, but she plays tall, and she's strong, and in her desire, in her strength, in her work ethic, made her play like she was above 6 feet for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Just the stats alone, the one you mentioned earlier, that was unbelievable. Unbelievable. I was hoping someone would call in and someone was watching the Facebook link to have some questions, but I think we have more viewers listening on the Facebook page. I don't know how the signal's coming in Canton, but I know that you can pick it up in the podcast via the website. But Mom, I just had like 5 questions just go through my head. I got to start. I never write them down.
So I'd like to hear from the other teammates, Rosanna Cho, and Taylor, and Claire, and Katie, Jenna, Emily. Those were your outgoing seniors, correct?
Right.
Right. And so how did they all work together? Like, take us into the last game, the championship game against Danvers. Like, how did you hype yourself up to know, to set goals, to strategize, to win that game?
Well, I think that we go into every match pretty much the same. Like, we focus on the match at hand. We focus on the game at hand, the point at hand. in volleyball, it's like Taylor talked about not letting her mistakes affect her so it doesn't affect the team, and that is how volleyball is. If you get down on yourself, that goes through the team. Everybody's worrying about Taylor if she's down on herself. So in volleyball, we have at Canton anyway a 3-second rule, which we really try to stay. Everything that happens is you can hold on to it for 3 seconds and then you're done, because the only thing that matters is the next point in volleyball. You have to get the next point. You can't worry about the one that you just got or the one that you just lost. So going in, preparing for the final was the same thing. It's like, here we are, team. We made the finals. We just beat 2 teams that nobody in the state expected us to beat. We beat Westboro. We beat Minnechaug. We were definitely the underdogs. But you know what? It doesn't matter that we won those matches. We're here playing Danvers, and we have to beat them. And the only thing that matters is this match. So if you feel like you had a great match last time, good. Take that momentum and carry it in. But if you feel like you didn't play well, it doesn't matter, because it's only one match. That's all it is for the state tournament. And we didn't really have to hype the kids up ever. We have never been to the finals before, ever. This was our very first time. It was exciting. Everybody was excited. And one of the things when I was talking about culture, everybody on the team is important. We carried 18 players. I carry a big roster. I try to really tell them that it doesn't matter if you're on the bench or on the court. The thing is being on the team. Everybody on the team is important. Everybody contributes. Practice is really what won the state championship. How they practice is why we won. And everybody practices. That practice team, the second team, you might call it, whatever, they push that first team every day. And there were many days in practice where they would beat the first team in, some drill we were doing or some game. So I stress daily, and I truly believe that without every single one of them, we would not have won the state championship. And I think most of the kids, if not all of them, really believe it. In 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, when you look back, you're going to remember you were on the state championship team. You're not going to remember exactly who was in what position, but you're going to remember you were part of something bigger than yourself. And I really think the kids believe that. So it's easy to go from there and to prepare. And in that state championship team, I have to say we won in 5, but we got crushed in the 4th set. We just got killed. And one of the bright spots of that 4th set against Danvers, when we were losing, Katie Lynch, who was a senior, went into the match to serve at one point. And she has a great serve. She got a couple of aces. She got our momentum back for us. And even though we were not able to win that set, we did have that feeling like, all right, we can do this. And going into a 5th set after you've lost the 4th one in a pretty bad way is stressful. But again, it doesn't matter. It's one game to 15 for the state. It doesn't matter that they just killed us. We're starting fresh. It's all new, and that's what we did constantly all the time. And, we were... It worked, and it went higher. 15 to 13, it couldn't have been closer. Wow. Taylor ended up with the last of the match, and we were state champs, so it felt better.
I could hear the sigh of relief as you were my coach.
Right.
All right, we are going to take a second. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk, the news station, 1320 AM WARA, and on our Facebook page, just hit our podcast to listen live, or you can see us talking to them here in studio on our Facebook. We are highlighting the 2019 Division II Massachusetts Volleyball State Champion, the Lady Bulldogs from Canton High School. We'll be back with more right after this.
W.H. Riley and Son welcomes new customers. They're a family-run business serving the Attleboro area since 1873. They offer heating oil and propane with 24-hour emergency service. For more information, you can contact them at 508-699-4651 or their website, whriley.com. W.H. Riley and Son, 35 Chestnut Street, North Attleboro, a company Greater Attleboro residents have called on since 1873.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Hey, welcome back. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here in the news station, 1320 AM WARA, and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. We have Pat Cowley, the head coach over at Canton Lady Bulldogs volleyball, and of course, the Hockomock Sports Player of the Year, Taylor Harris. You guys still with us, I hope?
Yes.
Awesome. Oh, you said it in unison, too. It sounded pretty good. It almost sounded like you were singing. So, my question, Taylor, I had a couple of questions I want to ask you that came to mind. Coming into this year, was there someone you wanted to use as a guideline, you personally, as far as being ready for last year's season? Was there a certain team, maybe in the conference or out of the conference, when you looked at the schedule this year, that you wanted to say, I think I can judge if I'm ready by playing this team? And who was that team? If there was a team.
I think that team was Franklin.
Okay.
Franklin had a really strong team last year. They had like a bunch of seniors. I'm talking about my junior year. They had like a whole team full of seniors with a new coach and everything, and they made it very far in their playoffs. So we were all looking forward to that game, and we ended up beating Franklin. And that like gave us a lot of confidence for like the next couple games, like the season. Like we knew we were like in it when we beat them.
So why Franklin? What did Franklin do to you in the past, or come to your attention and use that as a measuring stick? Why Franklin?
Because Franklin's usually really good. They're in the bigger leagues, so they have a lot more kids than we do.
Yeah.
And I think like every couple of years it goes back and forth for who wins between Kent and Franklin, but I don't think we beat them in a couple of years. So I was really looking forward to that game.
So it must have felt rewarding when it ended, right?
Yeah.
Good. So my other question to you is, as you leave Coach Cowley's volleyball program, there must have been some things you wish if you could go back in time, and I word this to all the great players that we have a privilege of talking on this show. If you could go back in time and you could give advice, or I should say, let me say the first one this way. So, if you could give advice to the people that want to make her team next year, that have a shot, that may be even on the cuff, but are decent players, but you want to give them, what advice could you give them? Is what I'm trying to say.
Definitely have confidence in yourself, and working out is a big part of volleyball. You have to be strong in order to play.
Yeah.
So definitely put your time into working out and get as many ball touches in the off season as you can, so that you have, so that you're ahead of other kids.
Okay. No, that's fair. I just, I figure it'd be cool to hear from you, because you've been there, you got all the accolades, and you seem like a great person, and I thought it'd be cool to hear, your thoughts on any advice you give these younger kids. That helps out a little bit, doesn't it, Coach?
Yes, it does.
I should have wrote that down for you, and I could have emailed it to you. So, Coach, what does it take, Coach, to become a Lady Bulldogs volleyball player? What are you looking for your athletes?
The first thing I look at is character, because I want good kids. I want kids that are nice to each other, that are team players, that care about each other, because I think that translates onto the court. Secondly, I want kids who are willing to work hard, and that doesn't mean play volleyball 12 months a year. I love multi-sport athletes because I think it's great for high school kids to play many sports. But I want kids who are really serious about volleyball, at least during volleyball season, who come back and who will put in time off season to become strong. Like Taylor said, I think that's huge. I can teach them the volleyball skills, but I can't get them in shape. So they have to be willing to do that. So kids who are athletic, in shape, and are willing to be, and are good kids and accepting of other kids and team players, then that is perfect for my team.
All right, Coach, we have actually, Lucy just bailed us out. She just has a questions here from Kelly Hines. Two questions for you. The first question is, the high school coach, what would you say is the most important ingredient for success in a season, is the first question.
Okay. Kelly Hines is a former player and a very good player at that, I have to say. I would say pretty much what I just said in your prior question.
Yeah.
I think the formula for success is to have a group of good citizens who work hard and want team above self.
Very nice. And her second question is, how do you approach the season after winning the state championship?
That's a very good question.
That's a very good question. She should be sitting across from
That is a great question. Well, first of all, this season is unlike none other with COVID. So it's been a very, it's difficult. These kids, these high school kids and college kids are going through so much now, socially and emotionally, and I really, really feel for them. I just, it's hard for all of us, but I feel particularly sorry for these high school and college kids who are, going through all of this. And they haven't been able to get together like they have in past years. And just recently, Canton High has let them, with proper social distancing and masks, they're doing a little bit of working out, all the kids, not just volleyball players. But so approaching this year is going to be different than approaching any other year, to answer Kelly's questions. But I think that I approach every season the same way. I go in knowing that if we work hard and everybody gives everything they can, that we have a chance to go all the way. So that's the way I'm approaching this season. I'm hoping that the girls are working out on their own at least, and going to come back in good shape. I have a lot of juniors, a lot of seniors now, upcoming seniors, and a few of them have played. I think Liz Bickett is one of our outstanding offensive players. She really stepped up last season. She's also one of our best defensive players, so I shouldn't say it that way. She's a sixth position player who I'm going to look to lead on the court. She had a great final against Danvers. She was one of the big reasons that we won that final match. And as well as I'm going to have 11 seniors this year. So that's huge. It's a lot of experience, and I'm going to have to, see how the puzzle pieces fit together, but we have some returning defensive players. Jackie's coming back. The other setter, Olivia Chinson, who's one of our captains, is the one that tore her ACL. She'll be back. Hopefully Sid Gallery, the one who had a season-ending injury last year, will be back in good shape, and as well as, several of the key players, Nikki Desjardins, Steph Trendell, Shannon Malloy, Angie Elias is one of our captains. Angie is a great kid, and she is going to be one of the leaders for us this year. Angie and Olivia, both of the returning captains, they were junior captains. They're going to be great leaders for us. And so I'm going to work with them and try to, fit the pieces together. I'm going to tell them, as I always do, I have high expectations. I expect them to work hard every day. And if we do, sky's the limit.
That's awesome. So now you just led me into my next question, and I think Taylor can help us out. Why don't we finish the roster so we make sure we get everybody on that championship team mentioned on the radio today, if that's okay.
Sounds good.
We didn't lose.
So, Taylor, you want to talk about any of them?
Oh, just say the people on the team?
Yeah, just so we can give some and then like Coach says, if you want to, like Coach mentioned, if you want to elaborate on any of the girls personally, that's fine, But I just thought it'd be pretty cool because they're not involved with us right now, and neither of you guys in the station, so it'd be pretty cool to just give them some quick kudos, make sure we mention them.
Okay. Liz Bickett is a junior. She's one of the other hitters that Coach Colley was just talking about, and she's a really good player. She only started sophomore year, but she picked up the game really quickly and was a big reason why we won the state championship. Jackie Morrissey was a junior setter last year, and she's the one that stepped up when Olivia Chinson tore her ACL, and she stepped up right in her place and did the job that she needed to get done. So she was really helpful too. And then Nikki Desjardins, she never played. She was a hitter before, but she got switched to libero, which is like a defensive player, and she wasn't really experienced at the beginning, but worked very hard to get her form and technique down. And by the end of the season, she was a really good libero. It helped us a lot. And she was also a junior. And then Claire Quinn was another senior outside hitter, and she played 6 positions, and she was a really strong player and always kept the ball in and was a really good passer and stuff. So she helped a lot as well. And then Shannon Malloy was a junior middle hitter, and she worked really hard in the off season and came in with a really powerful and strong swing. And Shannon definitely gained more confidence coming into her junior year. So she did she helped a lot with our wins and stuff. And then Angie Elias was a outside and a right side hitter, but she played mostly on the right side, and she was a really good blocker. She shut down a lot of other teams' best players, which really gave us more confidence and belittled the other team. So
she was really she was a motivator like that. She roused the other team.
What?
Is that what she does? She used to what'd you say? Used to motivate and razz the other team. Did I hear that right?
She would block the other team and
okay.
She plays on the right side, and the strong hitters for a team play on the left side. So she was blocking their outside hitters, the players that play Taylor's position. And when you block the best hitter, it really gets in their head. So
right.
She did a great job doing that. And she would have loved to have played outside, the same position Taylor plays, but she's a great team player. She's the epitome of what what we want on Canton High. I went to her after a few matches in the season and told her I was going to switch her to the right side because we needed her block. And, it means she doesn't get to hit as much because of the system that we play, but she was willing to do it, and I think she was a huge reason we had a successful season.
That's
So
awesome.
sorry, Taylor. Keep going. I didn't
Yeah,
want to
please.
interrupt.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I interrupted her.
There's Steph Trendle, who played back, so that position's right behind the setter when the setter's in the front row, and it's a very hard position when the ball comes because the setter's so close. So you need a really good technique for passing and stuff. But Steph really stepped up and got all the tips and everything that the other team was throwing at us. So Steph was a really clutch player. And then Taylor Reynolds was a really what?
No, go ahead, Taylor.
Oh, Taylor Reynolds was a really good setter. She's young. She's a sophomore, about to be a junior this year, and she is a very strong setter. And at first, me and Taylor had a really good connection. She knew exactly where to set me and stuff. So she's definitely gonna be really good in these upcoming years. And then Caitlin Irons was a really good defensive player. She would work really hard in practice and dig most of my balls, along with Emily Morrison, who was a really good defensive player, and Emily had a really strong serve as well. And then Kiara Cerruti just started playing this year. She was a sophomore last year, and she picked up the game really quickly, and she's really dedicated and focused on the technique of volleyball. So you can tell she's gonna be really good in the next couple of years that she's playing. What were you saying?
Is that everybody, or do we? I don't want to miss anybody because I don't want to get in trouble.
There's a few more.
I think
Talia. Oh, you want to talk about Talia, Taylor?
Yeah, Talia's a lot like me. She started playing volleyball freshman year, and she's a outside hitter as well. You can tell she's a really small outside hitter, and she jumps very high. She focuses a lot on her technique and stuff, and I know that she's going to be a lot like me when she's a senior, or as the years go on. And then Jenna and Katie they were seniors, and they were really helpful during practices and stuff. Katie had a really strong serve, and she would come into games, and sometimes she would totally go a couple points just acing other teams. And then Jenna was a really focused player, and she worked really hard in everything she did. So that was really helpful for the whole team.
And Rosanna.
Rosanna. She was really focused on what she was doing, and she always tried her best as well.
And she was a very strong defensive player also. She was a senior. She's off to college.
That's awesome. So did we get everybody in?
We did.
Awesome. So we don't have to worry about any complaints. All right, Coach. Why don't we we're just winding down this hour. What about your coaching staff, real fast?
So Anna Amico is the JV coach. She is a former player also, and she's been with us for several years doing the JV. She's very dedicated. She's a 3-sport coach at Canton High. She does indoor track and spring track also, and she is a great asset to our program. Michelle Cawley, who is my daughter, is the freshman coach, and she also came through the program. She was on the very first team when we started the program in 2001. She was a freshman in high school and a soccer player, a very good soccer player, but she decided at the last minute to switch over, and I'm thrilled that she did. It's very, it's very special having your daughter coach with you. Both Anna and Michelle they coach their own teams, but they also spend a lot of time helping the varsity. They stay every day at practice and help me, and they have great input into the strategy we use in the the lineups and all. They pour over the statistics, and they do a lot of scouting for me. Michelle played in college at UMass Boston. They went to the Nationals, and she was a defensive player, so she works a lot with the defense. Anna's also a defensive player and works with the defense. Both of them are invaluable. And Amanda Hines and Diane Beauchamp are two volunteer coaches. Amanda played for me at Canton High also, actually. She was on the varsity most of the time, so that's when Arunas was coaching, but she is a big part of our program. Diane is a player that I actually play with. I still play, and she's a teammate of mine. She was a big-time player back in the day. She helps with the blocking and the hitting. And both of them do that just because they love the game and they want to give back. They spend many, many hours volunteering with this program. And if it wasn't for them and many of my other players, I have to say, come back and help out. They help out with tryouts. They help out on Sundays when we practice. Countless players do that. And if it wasn't for all of them, we would not be where we are. Arunas, the person I told you that helped start it, often comes back and does a practice with me here and there, and he is wonderful. But it takes, everybody's input to make a great team, and I could absolutely not do it without everybody that's helped along the way.
Well, Coach, for WARA 1320 and all of us here at 4 Deep Sports Talk, we just would like to congratulate you, Taylor, on a great season. It was a pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Spread the word. Let them know we're out there in Canton for them.
All right, I will.
All right, take care.
Okay,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
We are strong. We are resilient. We will get through this.
Hey everybody, this is Justin Ferreira, and I'm about to read you some results in youth baseball. And at the Lakeville Freetown 57 Cat Ripken Baseball Championship Series, the Astros 8, the Bravos 4. Astros win Lakeville Freetown Series. Congratulations to the 2020 Taunton Western Little League Minor League Champions Blue Jays. Game 1, East Bridgewater Little League Championship Series. Cubs 3, Astros 2. Game 2, Cubs 11, Astros 1. Final, Cubs win the East Bridgewater Series. 5, the Taunton Ruth quarterfinals. H&H Machine beat Italian Club 12-11 to win the series. And Cheese beat Walker's Desserts 9-8 to win their series. The semifinals will start Monday on August 24th. I'm just for the Sportsmaster, and those are your scores. If you want us to mention your team or league scores, just email us at 4deepsports.com@yahoo.com.
There you go. Well done, young man. That was fast.
Yeah, great job.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So he's right about time. We only got a minute, so I'll just say it right now. For Luce Cabral, Justin Ferreira, Catherine Conley is just playing in the Special Olympics somewhere. I think
Cornhole yet.
I think it's cornhole.
That's awesome.
With that being said, I'll try. I know I'm not going to be able to get it in, but you'll see it on this COVID-19. We'll talk about it next weekend. Everyone have a fantastic, as the caller ID comes in, fantastic weekend.